Help me sort this out. So many of my viewers on this channel are not in the United States of America. So many of you specifically are in Europe. Wherever you are, even if you are in the United States, I think this is an important topic. I think it's safe to say that for the majority of the history of the world, those who had the most money, those who were the wealthiest, were the ones who were most likely to be overweight. And on the opposite side of that is the people who had the least wealth tended to be the people who would never be overweight. They were walking skeletons because they were basically on the verge of starvation. Like, that's the concept and understanding I have for most of the history of the world. I think most of us would agree with that idea, that only the wealthy had access to enough food that they could even become overweight. Meanwhile, everyone else who couldn't afford it didn't have the privilege of ever even getting to that overweight status. I think we can generally agree with that for the majority of the history of the world, that's how things have worked. But here in modern day, here in 2019, it's not that way. Especially in America, it's not that way. You look at people who have the most money, what you'll find is often they have very strict eating regimens, very strict exercise routines, and they tend to often be people who are physically fit and healthy and don't have onset diabetes, things like that. But then you look at people who are lower income, and most of the time they're more likely to be overweight, to be obese, to have more physical ailments, to be more likely to be to end up with onset diabetes sooner in life. And here in America we call this the obesity epidemic. But predictably, we can look at the person's income or household income to predict where along the line they're going to fall in that. That's all I really want to say, because I want you to say the rest. I want you to fill in the gaps. Let's talk about why that happens. It would seem ironic that for most of the history of the world, it was the opposite of that. But now this is what we're dealing with. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about ways to try to correct that. Your comments are important right here.